What's up, traders? Zach here with the Trading Network. Hope you guys are doing well. It is Tuesday, March 2nd, and I have another daily market profile recap. With that said, it is actually going to be a little bit longer because I will be going over both our ES trade plan and our NQ trade plan. So let's get into the ES trade plan first and foremost, starting with the key levels here. First level I was interested in was the prior range high at 39.12. Second level was the prior point of control at 38.93. Third level was that prior value area low at 38.86. Fourth level was the overnight low, which was down at 38.66 and a quarter. And right below that, just a handful of points, was the prior range low at 38.58. Now let's get over to the market profile and get into some detail here. All right, so getting into my analysis pre-market, overnight inventory was majority short, which means that the majority of the price action, or all of the price action in this case, was taking place below the previous settlement price, and we were looking to open inside of Monday's range and value. So if I bring my levels up here, you can see that settlement was right here, and a majority of the overnight price action was below settlement, which tells us that overnight inventory was indeed short. So with that said, when we are looking to open within range and value, which we were indeed today, so this is the value area, and we were looking to open within yesterday's value area. So you can see here when I said when we open within range and value, this means there's a higher probability of ranging price action and not much change in conviction from yesterday's regular trading hour session. When we open within range and value, we are also likely to have a similar profile to the previous profile with one side overlapping. We can, like multiple times last week and actually yesterday as well, utilize this profile open type to measure the next session's potential range. So that will typically give us within about a 10% measured move of the range. So for instance, if you guys would take the measurement of yesterday's range, superimpose it on top of a level from yesterday, for instance, if we use this as an extreme, then that's giving us a measured move, down to this area. Obviously, we didn't get all the way down there. We got just to the overnight low, and we will get into that detail in a little bit, but just wanted to give you guys another example of how you can indeed, take these profile measurements, superimpose them over the next profile, and get a likely range measurement or a measured move for that next regular trading hours session. So with that said, today I was looking at the prior point of control at 38.93. We can see that right there as the line in the sand level. If price could move and hold above 38.93 with conviction, then I was going to be looking to take long opportunity towards the overnight high at 39.06 and higher depending on reaction to that level. If we could not move and hold above the point of control from yesterday, then I was going to be looking for a move down to the overnight low, which was indeed our low of the day. So if we scroll down a little bit here, we can get into the scenarios and just reiterate a little bit what my thoughts were for the day. So line in the sand, that previous point of control right here at 38.93, just go ahead and draw a box around that so you guys can see that a little bit more clear here. And again, if we could hold that level, then I was looking for a move back up to the overnight high and very likely yesterday's high, which we did not get towards. And on the flip side, if we could not hold this level, I was looking for a move back into the overnight point of control, these lower levels, and of course the overnight low as mentioned previously, and as you can see here on the trade plan. So let's get into the targets a little bit. So you can see, just zooming into the profile here, just to reiterate a little bit, we had an open actually very close to the middle of value, right around 39.01. This is our open. We had a test to the upside. We had an open test drive to the downside actually today. And what that means is that is actually the second highest directionally convicted profile open type. So the only profile open type that shows us higher directional conviction than an open test drive is the open drive. So for instance, if this was an open drive, you could ignore these 3 B period prints here. We would open here and we would drive down immediately. So there was a fairly strong directional conviction off the open, but we did not have strong directional conviction before that, which is why my trade plan was developed in the way that it was. So moving into the upside target first, we only had one hit, so it's going to be short and sweet. That was the 38.96 level. So upon open, we did indeed have opportunity to both take a short to 38.96 and a long off of the point of control back up to 38.96. So trade opportunity on both sides, even though that was an upside target. With that said, once we broke 38.93 to the downside, which was, of course, the line in the sand today, that opened up a lot of possibility for those lower targets, a couple of which got hit in the initial balance. So that first target to the downside was 38.86. You can see 38.86 was the initial balance high for Monday. That is the high from the opening 1 hour range of New York session. And just below that, we had 38.84 hit, which was an interesting level, and that was a previous point of control from the February 22nd session, which you guys can see back here. So let me once more hide these levels just so it's a little bit more clear, and we'll get into the rest of these targets. So the third downside target was the 38.79 level. 38.79 was the value area low from the February 24th regular trading hour session. You guys can see this right here. And below that, I was looking at 72.25, which was another value area level. This time it was the value area high from the regular trading hour session following that, which was from February 25th. Now, the second to last downside target that was hit, or the second to last downside target, and it was actually the last downside target that was hit, let me rephrase that, was 38.6625, and that was the overnight low that we have discussed quite a few times already in this video. So as you guys can see, hopefully you guys are understanding or seeing the patterns here if you're starting to watch these videos more often, where I'm finding a line in the sand where close to where we open up for New York session. I am using that level as a major level to where if we move and hold above that line in the sand, then we're likely to hit previous profile levels relevant and close to that line in the sand to the upside. And on the flip side, like we saw today, we could not move and hold above that line in the sand. We got rejected, and we moved swiftly down through previous profile levels to the downside from recent sessions. So you can see, we have profile level from the 24th, the 25th, and of course this overnight low, which was from last night. And it's pretty simple when it comes down to it. If you guys look into auction theory, I really recommend looking into Jim Dalton's books, Mind Over Markets, Markets and Profile, and that will help you significantly understand why this is such a high probability technique to use, because this is telling us where the big players, where the institutional players, whatever you want to view them as or call them, that's where they are, or how they are viewing price in regards to value. Is it at a fair price? Is it overvalued, or is it undervalued? And that is a question that we need to always be asking ourselves. And as Jim Dalton would say, we need to ask ourselves, what are the bigger players? What are the other time frame players trying to do? And are they doing a good job of that? And by honestly answering that question, that can give us high probability information and furthermore setups to take trades off of on a daily basis when it comes down to it. So with that said, let's go over and let's get into the NQ profile a little bit. All right, so let's dig into the NQ profile trade plan a little bit. You'll notice that first and foremost, I'm going to start doing NQ trade plan reviews as well in my daily recaps. So you'll also notice that a lot of times when I do these recaps, even before obviously I started doing the NQ, that they're very similar. Very, very often, more often than not, 9 out of 10 times, you're going to see the NQ and the ES structured very similarly. Now, of course, NQ is more volatile, so the profiles are going to be more stretched out a lot of times, and with that said, the ideas and the techniques are still the same. They are used the same exact way. So without further ado, let's dig into these key levels for NQ. Starting with the overnight high at 13,328, prior range high at 13,308, prior point of control at 13,202, overnight low at 13,161, and the prior range low at 13,040. Now, again, just like the ES trade plan, no high impact events today, so let's move into the analysis. In a similar fashion to ES, overnight inventory for NQ was indeed short. Now, that means, again, that the overnight price action. Now, in a similar fashion to ES, as you can see, overnight inventory was indeed short. We've got settlement right here at 13,279, and the majority of that overnight profile was indeed below settlement price. So, with that said, at the time of writing this, we were actually pushing Monday's highs. So we were right here around open at 13,300-ish. And we were looking to open outside of range, but within value. Now, when we open within range and out of value, there is slightly more directional conviction than opening with it in range and value, like we saw on ES. But we are still likely to have a similar profile to the previous profile with one side overlapping. However, I added this as well. If we were to open outside of range and value, then that was going to increase the likelihood of us having a trending day or giving us high directional conviction. So based on that, I was actually looking at the 13,230.50 level right here as the line in the sand for NQ. So my thought was if we could move and hold above this level right here, that we were going to be getting a move back into the prior range high and the overnight high. And we actually got halted below the prior range high. So that told us that the buyers were weaker today and the sellers remained in control upon the open. So let's zoom in just a tad here. Let's look at this profile. You can see that we opened all the way up here, 13,297. Very, very similar. We had the open, we had the test upwards, we got a rejection below prior range high, and we had that drive downwards. So same profile open type. We had the open test drive on ES, and we had the open test drive on NQ, which tells us there is directional conviction after we open. So scrolling down here and getting into these scenarios. Upon open, I was looking to, again, see if we could get acceptance above 13,230 right here. And if we could, then I was looking for a move to the overnight high. On the flip side, if we could not get acceptance above the prior value area high, I was going to be looking for shorts down to 13,161 and lower. That was the overnight low. And if we broke the overnight low, I was indeed looking for a move back down into the prior range low. So let's dig into the summary with the targets here. All right, so line in the sand, 13,230. You can see that we opened significantly above that. We actually opened above settlement. So you could either consider that no upside targets were hit today, or that the upside targets were actually hit moving to the downside because we opened so far above them. With that said, I would generally consider that we didn't get them hit because we didn't move upwards into those targets. So let's get into the downside targets. In the initial balance, which is the opening 1 hour range, we had this 13,202 level hit. This was yesterday's point of control. Point of controls, as you guys may know, they are like magnets for price. Price does indeed revert to the point of control, and it is a very good target. Typically, you want to be taking trades from excess value, so above value area high or below value area low, back into value. That is, thought of as price reverting to the mean. Point of control can be viewed as the mean, and it will give you very high opportunity or high probability trade opportunity, rather. So the second downside target was 13,161. That was also hit in the initial balance, the 1 hour opening range, and that was the overnight low for the most recent Globex session. Now, after that, it took a little bit, but we did indeed move into that third downside target, which is right here at 13,148. And that was the initial balance high on NQ for yesterday. So that was the opening 1 hour high for the New York Sessions range yesterday. So you can see this 13,156, that's initial balance low for today. 13,148, that was initial balance high for yesterday. So that, generally speaking, is pretty bullish when you see the initial balance moving up. With that said, value didn't really move up significantly. We had more of an inside day. So it will be very important to see what New York decides to do tomorrow in regards to pushing value up. leaving it, in a fair value area where we are now, or moving value down, showing that, this is an expensive area for price. So next downside target, we were looking at 13,133. You can see that level poking out right here. That was the overnight high from the February 28th into March 1st session right here. And just like ES, I'm just grabbing previous profile levels and I'm using them as targets. They are very likely to get hit. If we break major levels, if we break the line in the sand, it doesn't matter what you are doing your analysis on, whether it's ES, NQ, CL, any sort of futures data, this is going to give you tremendously high probability opportunity. So I hope you guys enjoy that I am taking some time to go over NQ as well. Last but not least, the last downside target that we were looking at, it was not hit today. We got within 8 points, so you could consider it hit. If you were taking, as I say many times, if you were taking trades based on the break of this and using these levels as targets, maybe you see price move towards 48.50 level and then put in some bullish candlestick structure for a bounce, maybe some bullish divergence, as I always talk about, and maybe you take it 8 points above the allotted take profit. So with that said, that 1340 level did not get hit. Last target that got hit was 13,133 right here, and we did get very, very close to that last target. So if you were managing your trade well, you could have very likely gotten some profit out of a trade opportunity, even from the break of 133 down towards 54, 148, something like that. I want to thank you guys very much for taking the time to watch these videos. Shout out to you guys who suggested and asked me to share my NQ trade plans and talk about the NQ analysis. If you guys want it, let me know and I will make it happen. So thank you again for that. If you guys want to learn more about joining the trading network and using some of these tools that I do, please check out the link in the description below, where you can first and foremost find a link to our free Facebook group where I release these trade plans for ES and NQ on a daily basis around New York Open, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. You will also find the tradingnetwork.io in the description below, which is our website where you can get info on one-on-one mentorship with me. I offer 4-week programs, 10-week programs. These are one-on-one mentorship programs where we work directly every single day, every single trading day, one-on-one Zoom sessions. We go over trades. We build a customized trading plan and structure for your trading career, essentially, to help you move forward and have plans, whether you are trading in trends, whether you're trading in ranges, whether you're scalping, swing trading, trading options. We do it all in our mentorship programs. In addition to the mentorship, you will find information on the Trading Network Proprietary Indicator Package. You will find ways to access the Trading Network private Discord, where you can watch me trade live daily, Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And last but not least, you can get access to the Fundamentals of Futures Trading course, which is our comprehensive course that goes over varying strategies for varying market conditions. Thank you guys again. As always, I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.